All right, guys, so today we're going to be doing something revolutionary, and we're going to be testing as seen on TV products. I know I've never done that before. So the first one that we're going to start off with is this, which is the Paisano pizza oven. And I know what you're thinking. You've tested so many pizza ovens. Why are you testing another one? Because I love pizza, and I'm going to use every excuse possible to make and eat more pizza. But there's something different about this one. So this one apparently heats up to 800 degrees. I don't know if that's necessary or not. And just some other stuff. Nothing really that crazy. But what sets it apart and what made me interested in this one is that you have dual temperature control. So you can control the top, you can control the bottom. One of my last videos, I tested a propane-powered pizza oven, and it didn't really work that good. And the reason was because you had your pizza stone on the bottom, and then you had your flames that came over the top. So the pizza was always being cooked from the top down. You start to burn the toppings before you would get like a nice crispy crust. I mean, some people might be into that. I don't really like it that way. I like a nice crispy crust. With that pizza oven, I could not get a crispy crust without burning the toppings. I think that was just like a bad design. This one, hopefully, however, will be able to do that. So I should be able to set the bottom much hotter than the top and get that nice crispy crust. So this thing, it's got, like I said, the two burners. It's got this pizza stone that comes out so you can, I guess, wash it or whatever. It heats up to 800 degrees. Well, it goes from 0 to 800 degrees. It comes with this, which I forget what this is called, but I really like it. It comes with a pizza paddle that for some reason is split in two pieces, and it's got like a wedge shape. So I'm assuming you're supposed to like match up the wedges, and then that's where you put your pizza, and then you can pick it up and place it on there like that. I'm not gonna try that because that seems like a disaster. And I'm also not 100% sure if you're supposed to put the wedges to where they, go together and make a flat surface, or you're supposed to put it like this. It's supposed to be a 12-inch stone. That kind of looks like 12 inches. But then if you flip it to where they go against each other, it's like not really sure. Very weird design. So we're just not gonna use it. So I'm just gonna use my regular pizza paddle. First, let's probably heat this thing up. I think 400 degrees on the top, like 600 degrees on the bottom. Actually, let's go like 350 on the top and 600 on the bottom. And we should be able to get a nice crispy crust. So let's get some flour. Now this is a really nice thin crust, so that should help our cause even more. Cut this off maybe like here. This thing's not as good for cutting as I would have thought. I want to kind of make it a little bit round, something that resembles a regular pizza. So I guess we'll just make like a stop sign pizza. Yeah, that's nice. That should slide off pretty good. I'm hoping this thing will be warmed up by the time I'm ready. And hopefully this thing works really good. And I can make this my main pizza oven. Because I have yet to test one that has been good enough to become my main pizza oven. I still just use the regular oven because I've not found anything better. That's gonna be so good. Looks like we're almost already up to 400 degrees. So this thing heats up pretty quick. Beautiful. Absolute beautiful. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let this thing sit for about 10 minutes, give or take, because I want that stone to be, 600 degrees, give or take. Right now, it's only 350. Let's let that stone get nice and hot. All right, so before we go any farther, we need to talk about today's sponsor, Fume. We all have bad habits that we wish we could break, but what if I told you that you could just replace your bad habit with something better? That's where Fume comes in. So what is Fume? Here's some quick facts. Fume is an award-winning flavored air device with no vapor, no nicotine, just natural flavor. It's 100% nicotine free. It has non-toxic flavors. There's no batteries, no charging, and it's a fraction of the cost of vaping. So let's take a look at how this works. It's very simple. As I said, it's just a flavored air device. So you have two pieces. This one has a little channel inside of it, And then you have these little flavor pods. They have a whole wide range of different flavors. So you just take one of those, put it in there, close it up, and that's it. And then on the bottom, you have a selectable airflow. So you can have more airflow, less airflow. You can fidget with it, do whatever you want, and that's it. It's a very simple device. Now, they do have some accessories. So you can get a magnetic base that will hold on to it, just like that. And then you can also get toppers. So these are nice rubber tips that you can put on the end so that you can chew on it or whatever, because this is metal. So it's a nice little package. So if you're ready to quit your bad habit, you can go to tryfume.com/TylerTube. Use code TylerTube at checkout and you will get a free topper when you order your journey pack today. And you can scan the QR code on the screen, and all of the links will be in the description. All right, I believe it's been long enough. We're at 550 degrees on the stone. Good enough for me. And I've actually decided I'm going to use this bad boy that I got laying around. Give this thing kind of like another test. Look at that. Perfect. Using it for what it was designed for. Beautiful. Look how easy that was. All right, now let's drop it down. I guess we wait probably maybe 10 minutes, something like that. This is the boring part of making a pizza. Just waiting. I see that our temperature has dropped down to 400 degrees, and it was almost 500. All right, we're probably maybe 6 minutes in or so. There's a couple things I'm noticing. One, for some reason, all of the steam and heat is coming out from around this one button. So if you go to adjust this, the steam almost burns you, but it's not happening over here. But over here, it's like really hot. Don't know what that's about. Secondly, the pizza I think is coming out pretty good, but I've had to do some like finagling with the knobs because the bottom actually is looking pretty good. The top maybe could use a little more. So I've turned the bottom up to 800 because the top, or I've turned the bottom up to 800 because the top was getting done a little faster than I wanted. And right now I have the top completely turned off. So maybe let's crank that up to, let's just crank them both up to 800 and kind of finish it off. We'll go like 600 maybe. I think there's definitely a level of tuning that you kind of need to do here, but overall, I think I like this. This might be my favorite pizza oven I've tested so far. Another thing is whenever I had the bottom on, whenever I started off with, I think the bottom 600, top 400, I noticed that as soon as I put the pizza in and then shut it, the temperature went from like 450-ish and it just slowly started dropping down all the way to 300. And then when it got to 300, then, I wasn't paying attention. So then I saw it was at 300, so then I started messing with the knobs to try to get the temperature back up. Not sure what that's about. Definitely a little bit of tuning that you got to do. And you can probably see all that steam coming out of there from around that button. No idea what that's about. Yeah, the bottom is getting almost burnt, which is exactly what I'm going for. Let's crank up that top to 800 and give it a nice, well done crisp. I really like how you can just like tune it and have complete control over the top and bottom. That is a really nice touch. I think if I did this again, I think I would turn the bottom to like 800, put it in there, and let the bottom get where I wanted, and then maybe turn the bottom completely off and then crank the top up to 800. And I think maybe I would get a better result for, what I'm going for. Oh, look at that. Oh, yeah. I think we're gonna call that done. Oh yeah. The crust is just a little bit almost burnt. Perfect. Let's just use this, I guess. Cut this in half. Okay, this thing makes a terrible pizza cutter. Let me get an actual pizza cutter. Oh, you hear that crunch? Beautiful. That's exactly what I want to hear. This is going to be beautiful. Nice, almost burnt crust. Once this cools down, this is going to be perfect. I like how there's no flop there. I don't like a pizza you pick it up and it's all floppy and soft. I don't like that. Just the right amount of crunch. Perfect crunch, actually. Let's try the crust. Absolutely perfect. I think this is the best pizza maker that I've tried so far. All right, I'm gonna go eat a whole pizza. All right, next up we have the Mi Perez, however you say that, ratcheting pruning shears. So the idea here, from what I understand, with a normal set of shears, you put a branch in there, you just have to squeeze through the whole thing. But if, maybe you're older or you have arthritis or something, and you don't have the hand strength to be able to just squeeze right through like a branch, these, I can kind of demonstrate it this way. If it has pressure on it, it'll just ratchet, and it has different points, and you can just kind of slowly work your way through something. So it should be a lot easier. So I have harvested various different sized branches. We'll start off with something a little bit small. That was pretty easy. Although I'm surprised that it still ratchets through something that small. I'm not gonna lie, wasn't all that easy. Okay, so that works. Let's try. I got something a little bit bigger. Okay, now that was actually very smooth. It feels like, let me try to feel this out. It feels like it takes about the same amount of pressure for each ratchet. So that feels pretty light. That one takes a little bit more. Yeah, I feel like those are actually pretty good. That takes a pretty even amount of pressure for each one. I don't feel like it. I would say maybe I'm squeezing 40 pounds worth maybe to cut through this. That's not that bad. Let's try something a little bigger. Okay, now that takes a lot more hand strength. Oh, I can barely get through it with one hand. It did it though. Let's try this. This is really green, so that might make it a little bit tougher. Oh yeah. Actually, let's go down here. This is probably a little bit too big. You probably wouldn't be pruning something this big. Yeah, that's not gonna work. It's gotta stay way back there in the jaws. I think it might do it. No, it's not gonna do it. See if we can get both hands in here. Oh. It did it, but it being green made it a lot tougher. I kind of felt like this handle, I think it's plastic. I felt like that was gonna break, but so far we're still good. Now this is dead, so this is actually probably gonna be relatively easy. Oh, not that easy. And again, this is probably much bigger than something you'd be pruning typically. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so that's dead. That's gonna be a little bit easier. If you really jam it back in the jaws, it'll really help you out. Okay. I'm pretty impressed. Especially since it could cut through all this thick stuff. I'm impressed with that. But, you know, realistically, these two things are probably going to be about the size that you're pruning. And these things, that just works like a dream. I feel like even a little child could do this. So I actually like that. I'd never heard of this brand before, but these are actually pretty decent. Our next product. This is called the Slicer. It says it's a manual box cutter with slice ceramic 3-position blade. This is just a ceramic blade with a ergonomic handle, as far as I can tell. And from what I understand, all the hoopla about ceramic blades is that supposedly they don't get dull like a regular metal blade would. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right off the bat, I hate this handle design. I think this sucks. Like, it might be kind of ergonomic, but I feel like I would rather just like cut it off here and just let me hold it like a regular knife. I don't see why you need this big loop. It's not like it's gonna jump out of your hand or something. So I don't like this at all. So, and I also don't like how the blade only comes out that far. Like they said, it's a 3-position. I guess that's 1. That little tiny little nub. What's that, 2? No, that's only 1 and 2. Okay, that's 1. 2. Is the 3rd position closed? Is that what they're counting as a 3rd position? 1, 2, and 3? You can't count your 3rd position as closed. So let's throw this on the sharpness tester. See what we get. I think I've tested ceramic knives in the past, and I don't think they're that sharp. And of course, with the way the handle is, it's going to be kind of a difficult test. Okay, so we got 660, which, if this was a metal blade, that isn't a blade that is in deep need of a sharpening. So, not very impressive. Now, I've got a couple boxes. Some of you might recognize these. 3D printer filament boxes, which you'll find out in the very next video why I have so many 3D printer filament boxes. So I'm just gonna make, let's say 50 cuts or something, because we all know cardboard will just destroy a metal blade. So let's see what it does to this. Okay, that's not a very good experience. that cuts like crap. Okay, can I just say, like I said before, this handle sucks. This does not put you in like a good position to cut. Okay, I don't think we're gonna reach 50. I think we're about done here. Made about all the cuts I can make. After doing all that, it's about what I expect. It's like using a mildly dull knife with a very bad handle. If the handle was better, it might be a little bit better, because it does slice the cardboard, and supposedly, it's not gonna, I think the package said it goes dull like 11 times slower or something. All right, let's see here. We were started off at 660. That time we were at 585. Did we get sharper as we were cutting through the cardboard? I mean, 585 is still not that impressive. Let's do another one. That one was exactly 585 again. I don't know. Maybe my technique wasn't that great on the first one. But we got 585 exactly 2 times in a row. I guess that's where we're at. I'm going to assume maybe my technique wasn't that good on the first one, and we started out at 585, because it doesn't make sense that we would get sharper as we use it. That's just not very logical. That's the trade-off, I'm assuming, with the ceramic, is that it's not that sharp to begin with, but it'll stay at that sharpness for a longer period of time. A regular knife might start off at, say, 200, but then after you make 50 slices through cardboard, you're up to 300, and with this, you're at 585, and you're just going to stay at 585. I think this would be something that you give to somebody that you can't trust with a regular knife. That's what I would do. You would never really catch me using this unless I had like no other option, because the handle just sucks. If I had a better handle and a little bit bigger blade, like maybe if they made the blade as big as like a full-sized razor blade, like that size, maybe that wouldn't be that bad. But I don't even know if they make something like that. So overall, I don't really like it. But maybe it's not that bad for, like I said, somebody who can't be trusted with a regular knife. Our next one, which I'm kind of excited for. This one is called the I thought it was Gry Hot. This is, if you remember, way back in the day, I did a video on a sharpener very similar to this, almost an exact copy of this, called the Barbarian Edge, I believe. And I think this is supposed to be a higher quality version of it. From what I can tell, it seems like it's made of metal. I think that one was made of plastic. It says it's a sailboat sharpener Q15 Pro stainless steel color. So let's open this bad boy up, see what we get. Oh, a sunflower. Giftware? What in the world? Oh no. Don't tell me we gotta put it together. Oh no, we don't. Maybe it just comes with extra sharpening bits? Okay. I think my assumption was right. This is pretty heavy. These look the exact same as what's on here. So I'm going to assume that these are extras. Better take a screenshot because I am reading the directions. Kinda. I'm really just looking for the pictures. Okay, so we have the first one is polishing and then sharpening. Pretty sure that's reversed. You're supposed to sharpen and then polish. And then the third step is honing. So you're supposed to polish, sharpen, and then hone. I'm pretty sure that's completely out of whack. For a very sharp and smooth result, use 8 to 10 strokes. This technique eliminates any defects and doesn't remove any metal. If we're sharpening, that's what we want to do, is we want to remove metal. So it looks like this is the same kind of nonsense that the Barbarian Edge said, which is like, if you hold it at a different angle, then it does different stuff, which I think we found out to just be a bunch of garbage. So if you hold it level, apparently that's polishing. If you pull it through at an angle upward, that's sharpening. And then if you pull it downward, that's honing. Despite what they say, I think I'm going to do what I think is right, which is I will sharpen, then hone, then polish. I'm going to have to keep this out so that way I know which angle does what. So we're going to use this kitchen knife. Let's get a baseline. If I remember right, I think I sharpened this in a previous video and it was pretty sharp. Okay, 275. Pretty sharp. Let's give it a mild dulling. I don't want to dull it too much because I don't think this thing is really made to take a knife that's just completely trashed and make it really sharp. I think it's more just made to take a knife that's, you know, a little bit on the dull side and kind of bring it back. So let's just do maybe like 5 easy strokes across the brick. We'll go like this. Just the weight of the knife. Ooh. Okay, I think we probably just simulated like 20 years worth of use. Oh man, we might have done too much. We might have done way too much. We're at 825. Okay. We probably should have done about maybe 3 strokes across the brick. We got some work to do. Now what are we supposed to do? Sharpening, we go at a downward angle. And how many? For dull, worn out knives, use 3 to 6 strokes. This technique creates a new edge and removes metal from the blade. We'll go 6 strokes. Okay. And now honing, we go this way 6 to 8 strokes. We'll go 8. Okay. And then polishing, we hold level and we go 8 to 10. Let's go 10. Okay. Now we should have a sharp knife. And I gotta tell you, we might have something here. Usually whenever you have a damaged edge, you can kind of, if you look down the edge of the blade, you can kind of see if there's any like nicks or anything. And surprisingly, I'm not seeing any. Anything less than 300, I'm gonna be shocked. Actually, I'll tell you what, anything less than 300, I'll put this in my kitchen, and this is what I'll use to sharpen all my kitchen knives for the rest of my life. But I don't think we're gonna see that. Close. We got down to 345. So that's not that bad, especially from like 800. Maybe let's go again. Let's do just like 20 of each. I'll tell you one thing, I've done it twice now. I'm not a huge fan that this thing is metal, because 2 times now, I'll show you with the backside of the blade, I go to put it in there and I ding it. And that's not good for getting a sharp edge. Okay, that's 20 that way. Now we're polishing. Okay. Now let's see where we're at. See if we're lower than 345. Okay. Now somehow we've got more dull. We are now at 355. Also just realized that I completely forgot to strop. That's like the most important part. Let's go ahead and strop. Okay. Now this should give us a true idea of where we're at. Ooh. Now we're down to 230, which is lower than where we started, because we started at what, 275 or something? So it's actually a very, very, very nice sharp edge. I need to find a little piece of paper, do a little paper test, because I know you guys love that. Wasn't that smooth. This edge definitely has some little burrs in it and stuff. That's not horrible. Realistically, I don't think you're really gonna notice that, especially on like a kitchen knife. I'm gonna say this thing's actually pretty decent. Especially, I wouldn't use this on like my daily pocket knife, just because I don't think it's that good. But for kitchen knives, especially if you got just, this knife was probably maybe 15 bucks or something. If you got kitchen knives like this and you just need them sharp enough to, cut a steak, cut some vegetables or whatever, and you have a strop, I think this is perfectly capable of doing that. And it's easy to use, very simple instructions, especially if you're a beginner and you don't really know anything about knife sharpening, or you just don't care to know anything about knife sharpening. You just want knives that'll cut. I think it's a pretty good option. So yeah, I actually kind of like it. I now have living proof that the knife sharpener does get knives sharp. I was cleaning off the table, had the knife in my hand, and then it started to slip out of my hand, and like a complete idiot, went to catch it, sliced my finger open. So it does get your knives pretty sharp, in case you were wondering. I think I'm going to be okay. So our next product is, I just noticed this was on the box. I'm pretty sure this is some type of glasses, but it says Mighty Sight Deluxe Coating Mail Order. What in the world could that even mean? They come in a case. Okay, yeah, there's some type of glasses like I thought. Oh, there's a charging cable. Okay. Oh, good grief. That's why it's Mighty Sight. They're tube magnifying glasses. Holy crap. Everything, I can see stuff to about here. And of course, it's just bigger the closer you get it. But anything past here is just straight blur. Wow, it almost makes me dizzy. I see lights. Do they not come charged up? What kind of charger does this take? It takes micro USB. Of course it does. So I think that's it. That's the whole thing. It's just magnifying glasses. Let's see how bright these lights are. Will they work while they're plugged in? Are you kidding me? Okay, well I guess we're just gonna let these things charge up for a little bit. It shows like a picture of a red light, but there ain't no red lights on here. Okay, let's just let it charge up for a little bit. All right, so it's been, I don't know, maybe like an hour. Let's see how bright these lights are. Ah, cool. They just don't work. So that's pretty nice. Awesome. I feel like that would be a very important part of the glasses for the lights to work. All right, so do my eyes look big? Like, can you guys? I can't see nothing. I hope my eyes look really, really bug-eyed to you. So overall, these glasses, I could see where these would be very useful. Like if you have pretty poor, like up-close vision, it does make everything look way bigger, much clearer. I have really good vision up close, so it doesn't really do a whole lot for me. Like I can see all the same details if I just hold it closer. I could see where like an old person would really like these. I feel like it'd be better with the lights, so that really sucks. I'm really surprised it's just nothing. Hold it, click it, just click on the built-in LED lights for extra brightness. Yeah, nothing. Okay, that kind of sucks. The glasses themselves, I feel like they're very high quality magnifying glasses, but it really sucks that the lights don't work. All right, our last product. This is, I don't know what this thing is officially called. It's a spike so that you can, I guess, stab somebody. It's a hammer, a 1/2-inch ratchet, and a 3/8 ratchet. All in one. I don't know like where you need all three of those in one, but it's here. It's called the Max Power. So I have I have 3 different size nails. We'll drive them in, see if we can pull them out, and then we'll test the ratchet side of it. So we're gonna start off with a little tiny nail here. This is gonna be very difficult. It's actually not too bad. The weight's pretty good. Oh yeah, it pulls it out like a dream. Okay. Look at that. Oh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able. That's gonna pull the whole table over. Got this thing too high up. There we go. Let's try this bigger one. This thing's actually not a bad hammer. Oh, no way. We can't pull this one out. It's not big enough to get around the nail. Okay, I didn't even test that beforehand. So, let's just go ahead and just drive that in. Okay, that works. I did not think that using a hammer would hurt my finger that bad. The vibration kills me. All right, let's test the ratchet. All right, so let's just see if we can screw this in. That's loose. Let's go tight. Yeah, this is just a regular ratchet. I will say the teeth are very coarse. Much more coarse than anything you're gonna find on just like a regular, like I was gonna say snap-on, but probably really any ratchet these days. Most of them are probably somewhere around like 72 tooth to I think maybe like 96 tooth. Some of them might be even more than that. This feels like a really old school Craftsman ratchet, one that's maybe like 36 tooth or 32 tooth, whatever they used to come in. Maybe since it has bigger teeth, maybe it could withstand more torque. Yeah, I mean, that works pretty good. We went in pretty far. Let's go out. Yeah. Okay. I mean, the ratchet part works. It's a big ratchet like you would expect. I don't really know what you would use this for. Like what is this going to take the place of? I feel like most people are just going to carry a hammer to do some hammering and then a ratchet to do some ratcheting. Maybe if you just happen to need both in one, this could have you covered. It works. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one.